Hey everyone, talking about how I got into fragrance. I've probably mentioned this a few times on here, spread out in different videos, but I figured I'd do a quick one just to kind of mention that because sometimes people ask. So, no cool origin story here, but kind of going way back. When I was a teenager, just started. I don't even remember what I wore then, honestly, but my parents still insist that, well, back then you were only into fragrance to try to probably cover up the smell of weed, which that was part of it, but I did like it. Then I think I wore like Old Spice Swagger when I was like 20, just like the body spray type of thing, which I actually think does smell pretty good. It doesn't smell as bad as the name would indicate or the brand or anything. And then went to Sephora in like 2012, tried around 60 masculine fragrances, did not like 99% of them. All of the ones that I did like were all by Lacoste. It was like Rouge, Noir, or whatever the black one is, and I think yellow or green or something like that. And then I had my now wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, smell, them too. She agreed with me. She didn't like most of them either. And we both agreed that Lacoste Rouge by far smelled the best. I really liked that. I got that. I wore that for many years. I was thinking it was 10 years, but then that would mean I only stopped wearing it this year, which isn't quite the case, but for quite a few years. Then at one point, I was just kind of thinking about it like, and I was under the impression that everybody's supposed to have one signature scent who wears fragrance. I'm curious if other people thought that too, because some people I talked to definitely say, oh yeah, I thought that too before I got into fragrance, which is kind of weird marketing because you'd think they'd want to sell as many as possible, but that's clearly presented, at least in fragrance culture and mainstream in the States, as like, oh, you gotta have your signature scent for those who wear fragrance. So I never thought about it much further. I was like, okay, I have my one, whatever. And then, yeah, just one day I was kind of thinking like, maybe I'm kind of curious to try some other stuff too. I've worn this for quite a while now. So I bought the Sephora men's cologne sampler, which actually is a really good deal. It's like, it comes with 10, a dozen or something like that, like little samples. And then it also comes with a certificate to get a free big version of it. And I think for like $60, and the big ones you could go up to like $120 in value. Plus you get all the samples. So yeah, good deal. I didn't think I was going to probably like any of them, remembering how picky I was with the 60 or so I tried, when I was getting Lacoste Rouge. But yeah, big surprise, no, I did not like any of those. And I think at the time I tried them, I didn't even really realize you need to give it like, a few seconds at least before you smell a fragrance. So I think I would like smell it, I would spray it and then be like, oh, yuck. Probably mainly getting that like alcohol-y type of smell. But yeah, I didn't like any of them. And then I guess I sort of just like kind of looked into like, oh, fragrance sample sites or something. Like, where else can I kind of find stuff and try it and not, have to go in stores, especially because this was like when COVID started that I really got more into it, and I wasn't going into stores without a mask or anything. So I found some stuff, and I was really naive at that point about thinking, oh, if the notes look good, I'm definitely going to like it. So I would like pay the shipping price just to get like one little Penhaligon sample ordered, when I could have just ordered more and gotten free shipping or whatever. Like, oh, I'm going to love this because the notes look good. I was pretty disenchanted with niche pretty quickly, just like, oh, God, this smells so gross. Because I guess a lot of the ones I was trying, some of it can be an acquired taste. And I think some of us forget that when we've smelled so many things after a while. Like, niche does not mean more compliment pulling. Being expensive does not mean it's more appealing to everybody. Once you get into more, fragrance, you can really appreciate the quality more. And absolutely, there's some major, stunning niche fragrance. I mean, most of my collection is niche, so I'm not trying to, talk shit on niche, but it's also something that I remember starting out was kind of just like, ugh, like this is kind of gross, just like too dry, too like not what I was looking for at all. And so then I was kind of like, I guess I'll try, then I tried more designer samples and everything like that, and just kind of hopping back and forth. And basically, like probably many of you, I just fell down the rabbit hole. And ever since then, I've just tried anything that I can. And it's been super fun. And then I started the channel because I figured like it's fun to talk about fragrance stuff with other people, and it definitely has been. And I love, talking with people in the comments or whatever about what you think of different scents. But yeah, and then clearly my collection has grown a lot since then. I'm I've tried about 3,000 fragrances now, 20 or so are full bottle worthy for me. So I'm very picky about, what exactly I want to own and wear, but obviously there's so many others that I like or even love. And then it's just continuing on there, and I'm still on that chase anytime where I can find a new full bottle worthy fragrance for my taste. It's just like this amazing feeling. It's almost like using one of those metal detectors in the sand or something, and then you find, I guess, what, like a quarter from a pirate's hull in 1700s. I don't know, but I mean, that frankly, that's probably the theme of some fragrance out there, for that matter. But yeah, that's very much the story, and just wanted to also encourage for anybody else, like, you don't need a cool origin story to be into fragrance, especially by the time you get into it and you've smelled enough niche stuff. Like, screw that if someone acts like, oh, you know, then Sephora or this and that. Like, there's nothing wrong with liking what you like, for getting into it however you got into it. You know, fragrance should be like open and very personal and for everybody's taste. And, you know, we can all talk about what we like or don't like, but there's always going to be somebody out there who likes any kind of fragrance. So yeah, if anybody else is like me, don't let anybody make you feel bad for not getting into it in like a cool way, or if your taste is more into, you know, designers and cheapies, whatever. But yeah, that's how I got into it. I'm curious how, if anybody watching this, how you got into it, because there's so many different ways that people can get into fragrance, and the big uniting thing for a lot of people I talk to is that we all just like really fell in kind of head first at some point, and it's been all uphill, downhill, something from there. But yeah,